Hello, I'm talking to Vera Pfeiffer, who is one of the UK's leading kinesiologists, and Vera specialises in the field of hair loss. Vera is author of the book Regrowing Hair Naturally, and today we're going to cover some of the key questions that you have about hair loss. Vera, how long have you been practising in the field of hair loss, Vera?
I've been practising, researching and treating people for hair loss problems for the last 10 years.
Okay, and what is the difference between hair loss and alopecia?
The difference between hair loss and alopecia, there isn't really a difference. It both means hair loss. Alopecia is the scientific term for hair loss.
I see. And what's the difference between alopecia areata and alopecia androgenetica? I'm sorry if I pronounced that
That's fine, don't worry, those are quite difficult expressions. It's the alopecia areata. Areata, as we have the word area, areata means it's an area where you lose hair in a patch. So when somebody has patchy hair loss like that, where there's a whole area without any hair, that is alopecia areata. It's considered to be an autoimmune disorder. Whereas alopecia androgenetica is more of a diffuse hair loss in certain areas. So male pattern baldness, for example, is a form of alopecia areata where the hair thins out on the crown and where the temples go back.
Okay, I see. And how much hair loss is natural? How many hairs a day should we lose?
Well, generally it is thought that between 70 and 100 hairs a day is normal. But, you know, it depends very much on what your personal normal hair loss is. So, for example, if your normal hair loss as an individual is 40 a day, then for you 70 would already be too much. So if you lost 70 hairs a day, for you that would signify there is something not quite right that needs looking at. But on average, between 70 and 100 is normal.
I see. And when a woman has a baby, on a lot of occasions afterwards, the hair can start thinning. Is this natural?
Yes, it can happen. Usually the hair will start growing again after a while. But if it doesn't, if there is, say, a year after the woman has had the baby, the hair is still not growing back properly, then it needs looking into.
Right, right. In men, sometimes they may find a small bald patch. Is this normal? Should they be doing anything?
It depends a little bit. You see, if it's a truly bald patch where there's absolutely no hair, then you're looking at alopecia areata. And that means there is a severe toxicity in the body, in which case you really need to do something about it very quickly. Because these round patches can grow back by themselves, but they can also get bigger. And because it's a problem with a toxicity in the body, it needs addressing anyway, so you really have to do something. Whereas if the patch still has some hair in it, then it's probably male pattern baldness, which is also a toxicity problem, but it's not so urgent because the toxicity levels aren't so high.
Right, right. If a man in his mid-20s starts losing his hair and it starts receding at the temples, is there anything he can do about this to stop it?
Yes, there is, and it is very important that he actually goes and does something about it, because, you know, hair loss in men occurs because, say, the body gets too acidic, eating the wrong foods, they might have metal toxicity, and so on. If this starts very early on in life, it means that the toxicities, the poisons in the body, the acidity in the body has already built up at a very young age. So in order to stop that from continuing to build up, again, you need to do something about it, and that's where I do the hair sample tests, for example, or nail sample tests. If somebody doesn't have any hair anymore, I can actually check whether people have a toxicity problem, what it is, and what they need to take to get rid of it.
Oh, fantastic. So, I mean, once a hair loss problem has been established, are there any set tests that should be done?
It is very useful if you can get your doctor to do tests for you. You need to check what levels you have for iron. That's a very important one. Folic acid is important as well. And there are various other things like B12 that would also be useful to check. I find that those are good tests, but they don't really get to the bottom of it, because what I found in my research is that any hair loss has something to do with the body getting too acidic. And the acidity can come from various things, from fillings in your teeth, for example. Amalgam fillings can cause hair loss. It can be, if you're eating a lot of fish can have a lot of mercury in it, which can cause hair loss. There are various different sources, and I've got lots of test kits to check what is actually at the bottom of your particular hair loss.
Fantastic. There's been a lot of media coverage about Gail Porter's case. I mean, is this normal?
Well, in a way, I was very glad there was a lot of coverage about it, because these are clients like Gail Porter who I see every day at my practice. And usually if the media report about it, they always say there's nothing that can be done about it. But it is just not correct. Even if somebody's lost all their hair, the hair can grow back, but you have to find out what it was that causes the acidity in the body and the toxicity in the body, and what you need to take. And there are natural remedies for that, which can make the hair grow back, even if all the hair has fallen out.
Wow, that's so reassuring to know. And if someone's hair is very thin but they don't want to wear a wig, is there anything they can do?
Yes, these days there are lots of good things that you can do. There are certain type of microfibers which are like a powder, and you can actually just distribute them on the scalp, which gives the appearance of the hair being fuller. That can work very well for some people. Also, extensions can sometimes be a good way forward. So there are a variety of things you can do there to help yourself and feel more confident, because people really lose their confidence when the hair doesn't look good, especially women, but also men. You know, if you have a 20-year-old, and I do have very young men at my practice, and I have children who are losing their hair, and it can be soul destroying and really knocks your confidence. So if you can help yourself while, you know, doing something to get the hair back, it's a good thing to do.
Excellent, excellent. So are there any foods that I should avoid if I've got a hair loss problem, Vera?
Well, for men, definitely avoid animal fats. So cut down on the cheese, cut down on fatty meats, because they have a detrimental effect on male hormones, and they can actually shift the balance so that the hair falls out. I actually had a good friend of mine who had a fantastic head of hair. I mean, beautiful, you know, wavy hair, really full head of hair. And he suddenly discovered a passion for cheese, and he had sort of like a block of cheese every day. And he developed male pattern baldness. And it was purely down to that. We tested it, and it was that he had, you know, eaten too much cheese. He had to stop that, and with a bit of aid from some supplements, the hair started growing back again. But, you know, without knowing me, he wouldn't have known that there's a problem. So for men, fatty animal products, not good. For women, there isn't really anything in particular, I'd say, except for people who usually don't drink enough water. You have to drink water, you have to flush out the body, because if the body's acidic, the water will dilute the acidity. So and that really helps to keep the body flushed of toxins to a certain extent. It's not quite enough, but it's a good start to actually make the body healthier.
Thank you so much, Vera. It's been invaluable. And if you want to know more about hair loss and how you can remedy this naturally, then go to regrowinghairnaturally.com.